breaking news has just come out from a source in Italy. I don't know about, the reliability of it, but it says Victor Osimhen is actually waiting for an offer from Arsenal. He wants to come to Arsenal. So I think today's video is only right to just talk about Victor Osimhen and how he will fit us and just everything you would need to know. I feel like it would be a very good signing. Of course, that release clause is so high. But yeah, before I get into all of that, if you're new here, please subscribe. If you haven't got your notifications turned on, what are you doing? Turn them on. And of course, if you haven't liked the video by now, make sure to do that. It really does help me out. So smash that like button. Without further ado, let's begin. Victor Osimhen began his professional career at German side Wolfsburg in the 16-17 season after impressing in the Under-17 World Cup. However, it was only until the last game of the season where he played for them with 30 minutes played against Borussia Mönchengladbach. This was one of his 2 cameos off the bench in the league that year, but did make another in the relegation playoffs where his side triumphed to remain in the top flight. He eventually did enough through those cameos to remain with the squad for the following year. The season following on from that one wasn't that successful, so in the 2018-19 season, the 19-year-old was no longer considered to be valuable to Wolfsburg, as he left the club to join Belgium side Charleroi on loan for the year, which was to become permanent at the close of the year for 3.4 million. This gave the 19-year-old forward a chance to prove himself in a side where he could see himself getting regular minutes in a league he could really shine. This was the case as he made a total of 36 appearances in all competitions and scored 20 goals and got 4 assists. His great performance then earned him a move to Lille, where he was really good for the French side, becoming one of the most sought after strikers in Europe. But then in the end, he chose to then go over to Italy and play for Napoli, where he has been incredible ever since. So let's just go on to Victor Osimhen and what he's about and the sort of play style. He's a right-foot centre-forward who brings a big presence to the opposition's penalty area. He scores goals in a variety of different ways and is adept in the box with both feet and his head. The ability combined with his strength and timing of his movements make him very dangerous when close to goal. He has an impressive jump which he often beats his direct marker in the air, while he is able to generate power with the headers or simply guide whipped ball towards goal. He always remains alert to compete when the ball is bouncing around off rebounds, deflections. He's just always there and ready to pounce. And I think this is one of the biggest upsides with Victor Osimhen when we look at him as a player. A striker who sniffs around in the box, looking at any opportunity to score a goal. We missed that at Arsenal. There's been so many times where we would have the ball on the wide areas with Saka and Martinelli and a ball would just flash across the face of goal and nobody would be in there to tap it in. Or a ball would be put into the box and it would be deflecting, bouncing everywhere. And there's no one there to just apply that final touch to put it into the back of the net. And although Havertz has done a brilliant job, reasons why big clubs like Manchester City stay at the top is that they're always looking to improve the players they already have. We've seen when Gabriel Jesus was there, everyone thought he's doing pretty well. Why would they sell him? They sold him, got themselves Haaland. So if you can make these little upgrades, unfortunately, as annoying as that would be with Kai Havertz having such a good season, you have to make them. And that's why I'm for Victor Osimhen. He definitely is an improvement on Kai Havertz, runs the channels the same way, even better in sniffing in and around the box. He can hold the ball up really well as well. And his ball striking is at a really high level, way better than Kai Havertz. So although a lot of you will be saying, oh, Kai Havertz had the best season and why would we want to replace him? Just think forward. Think in 5-10 years. If you can have someone like Victor Osimhen with the quality he has, go for him, pick him up. And Kai Havertz can play multiple positions. He can play up front, he can play in the 8, he can play as a 10 if needed, and sometimes he can play as a second striker with Osimhen. There's so many different formations you can play with Havertz in the lineup with another centre forward like Osimhen. But of course, we all know how good Victor Osimhen is. Even grabbing himself 15 goals and 3 assists in 25 games last season. That's ridiculously good for someone who was injured for the majority of it. I think that's another thing with Osimhen when I'm looking at him against Sesko. It's his injury record. He has an awful injury record. And I don't think we can really afford to sign somebody with such a bad injury record. So that would probably be one of my major push-offs. But then again, if you're looking at these stats, 18 goals and assists combined in 25 games in Serie A. The season before, he played 32 games, scored 26 goals in Serie A with 4 assists. The season before that, 14 goals, 2 assists in 27 games. And even before that, 10 goals, 3 assists in 24 games in 2020-21. I can't lie, these numbers are absolutely incredible. I'm so impressed when I'm reading them. He's an output machine, a demon. You need that. He's got that arrogance. He knows what he wants in front of goal. And the fact he's pulling up these numbers and there's still, you know, games where you can say he's missed a lot of, you know, easy sort of chances is just so ridiculous. He's going right to the very top. He's still only 25 years old. He's now in his prime. He's at the perfect stage for a striker when you're like, now we're going to see the best of you. And I think the Premier League, Arsenal, we're competing for trophies. You're going to go up against Haaland, Manchester City's Haaland. You need someone like Victor Osimhen, who's got that arrogance in front of goal, that link-up play, that skill, that pace, that ability to run the channels. He'll just be so perfect in that sort of way. I don't know about you guys when you're watching this video. Let me know. Are you a fan of Victor Osimhen? Are you a fan of Sesko? Are you a fan of Havertz? Who would you prefer? For me, I think the best out of those three is Victor Osimhen, of course. And that's why he's the most expensive, because he simply is a quality player. But were you willing to be waiting for someone like Sesko for 3 years where he needs to develop and he can come as good as someone like Osimhen? Or are you going to stick with Kai Havertz, who's 24 years old himself, still relatively young? You can probably get about 4 years out of him to develop even further. Is that a project you'd want to do? Tell me in the comments down below. But I think just to end this video, I just want to talk about his off-the-ball work rate. Mikel Arteta wants his centre forwards to be really good at pressing. He doesn't want his system to fail because one of the attacking players isn't doing their job pressing and just off the ball. But what makes Osimhen such an intriguing forward doesn't necessarily stem from what he does on the ball, but rather without it. Simply put, the man is constantly trying to use his off the ball pace to find quality scoring chances by getting on the blind side of defenders. You know, this is another element of being a striker. Can you work the channels? Can you work the defenders? Can you press them off the ball and tell them to follow you into those uncomfortable areas? And Victor Osimhen is one of the best in world football at doing that. In terms of pressure as well, Victor Osimhen ranks the highest amongst forwards. So he's always hassling defenders. He's just a pure handful. We talk about Haaland. When you watch him in the Premier League, defenders are already scared to play him before the game has started. We need that fear factor, and I think Osimhen can be that sort of player. You just see how big of a player he is. He is massive in size, around 6'2". He's strong, he's quick. No one wants to play up against Victor Osimhen as a defender. So, you know, we got to bring that fear factor back. I'm a big fan of Havertz. I know he's been excellent. But if you can bring a fear factor like Victor Osimhen and hassle a price down, which is less than that 105 million release clause, then go and do it. I know Arsenal have already said that it's unlikely they're going to spend big money. But if he's waiting on us, we've got to take this opportunity. These sort of strikers don't come around ever so often. You know, Haaland, Man City took a market opportunity there and got one of the best strikers that we may ever see. Let's do it with Osimhen. Let's see if we can work with Arteta and really maximize the potential we all know he has. He's already had brilliant stats and he can only get better. Anyway, goodness, that's it for now. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like as always, subscribe and turn on those notifications. Until next time, peace.